All right, guys, thanks for coming out. We're a few more minutes and we're going to get going here. All right, everybody, just wanted to make sure everyone got the announcement. We have some raffle tickets for purchase. We're going to hit last call for raffle tickets, and then we're going to get going with the meeting here. All right, we're gonna get going here. Thanks everybody for coming out to our annual Lake Association meeting. I am president of the Lake Association. Had to move up from the vice president position to the president's position this last July after our previous president unexpectedly passed away. Want to run through just a couple quick things, and I'm going to pass the mic off. We obviously want a huge shout out to the Loon. We get to use this venue we don't get charged for this. So, you know, it's a blessing to us to not have an expenditure to bring everyone together to meet and give you guys some updates on what we've done over the last year and what we want to do moving forward. Just a quick list of some of our raffle sponsors. These are all 100% donated stuff, so this is a great fundraiser for us. Helps get more involvement, names out for local businesses in the community and such. You guys all checked in and hit member dues and stuff if you needed to on the way in. And not a super extensive agenda tonight. By the way, can everyone hear me? Yeah. We're good? Okay. Not a long agenda tonight. We'll get into some other stuff later. Here's a list of our officers. Myself, president. We have a vacant vice president position. So if anyone is maybe interested in learning a little bit more about what that is or what that means or what needs to be done, you can come talk to us after the meeting. We have Jacob over here as our treasurer, and Chris is our secretary. And then we have a couple of Snowbird people that aren't here. We have a member at large, Jack, and our Croon Lake rep, Tom. So those guys have been fairly heavily involved in our monthly meetings that we happen and anything that we need to negotiate and move through. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic off to Chris, our secretary.
Hello. Is this on?
Put it all the way up.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Schrader, and welcome to our annual meeting. Back in 2022, I received a little postcard of mail like this, like you guys probably received too. We just moved, my husband Brad and I moved to the area. We live on the channel between Chisago and South Lindstrom. Received the postcard and we're like, oh, let's go check that out and see what the Lake Association is all about. And here I am. But I have no regrets. It's been a great experience. I've learned so much. And I will say, coming into it, I knew absolutely nothing. I didn't know what AIS even stood for. For those of you who are maybe new, it stands for Aquatic Invasive Species, the bad weeds that we're trying to control. But I knew nothing, but I've learned a lot, and it's been a really great experience. Over the last few years, we've really gone through a lot of changes and a lot of challenges. For example, our previous vice president got called away and had to leave the country, and so Dave stepped up into that role. So that was an awesome transition. Dave drove in head first and has been doing an awesome job in that role. And then, just by chance meeting, my husband Brad and I were here at the Uncommon Loon and met Jake. And we got talking lake life and just how things are going. And it turned into the talk about the Lake Association. And he decided to get involved. And a little bit later, our previous treasurer ended up moving out of state. And so now we have Jake as our treasurer. So thanks to Jake. He does a great job. He keeps us organized and keeps everything on task. And then, as most of you probably know, last summer we had a very tragic experience, or a very shocking experience, the passing of Mark Wachter, our previous president. It was a very shocking experience and very difficult for all of us, as Mark was a big part of our community and he was very passionate about the lake and the Lake Association. So once again, we had somebody step up, and that was Dave. So Dave has really stepped up for our association. I can't thank him enough for everything that he's taken on. So, and as many of you maybe know, Dave and Mark were very good friends, and so it's nice to see Dave carrying out Mark's work and his vision for the association. So thank you, Dave. And then with that, it does leave a call for help. We do have a vacant vice president position. So if any of you are even remotely interested in considering getting involved, that's a great way. It's really not a huge time commitment. It's just we really need human bodies and we need some help. So primarily at this point, it has been Dave, myself, and Jake trying to get everything going. We have had help, and I do appreciate like Jack Samuel, Tom Johnson, Heather Van Slade, and Heather Unkern, and then Stephen Gassert. They have been also helping with their input and just showing up to our meetings and trying to be present. So with that, our association is really only as strong as our members, so it really says a lot that all of you are here tonight. We appreciate that. And just if you're feeling a little inkling to get involved, we also need help with like events and social media, communications, that type of thing. It doesn't have to be a huge commitment. We'll take anything we can get. So if you're interested, just reach out to one of the three of us and we'll try and plug you in somewhere and take it from there. So thanks again for everybody for coming. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jake, our treasurer.
Hey everyone, thank you, Chris, for that. As you all know, my name is Jake Kinney. Jacob, I'm going to go over our treasurer report here. Overall, in a pretty good financial standing. One thing that you may notice, though, on 2026 is we're in the red. That's kind of to be expected because we haven't held our annual meeting yet where we get the most of our dues. But we're in a pretty good financial standing. The one thing I do want to call out is the 71 under the current membership. This was as of yesterday. And thank you all for being here and joining and being present. But please talk to your neighbors. I think we have 500 addresses around? 531 on the number of addresses around the lake. So as you can see, that number is significantly lower than what we probably should be at. So please talk to your neighbors, help get us that number up. The other thing too is that as we go throughout the years, we don't know what grants we will and we won't get. This year we didn't get one that we thought we would. So that is obviously it's a hit to our financials. So that membership number definitely helps. The other thing I do want to call out is, as we are in good financial standing, we do have a lot of expenditures coming up this year. If you all have been paying attention to any of the Facebook posts, any of the emails that have gone out, we did buy a boat. That boat is for us to treat more of our lakes for the invasive species here. So we're investing in this boat so that we can treat more and have our lakes in a better spot here. So if you have any questions on anything, please let me know. But that is where we're at right now.
Does anyone have any questions for Jacob before we move forward on?
Also, I'm not an accountant, so I did my best.
All right. For anyone that may be new here, asking what is the Lake Association about, what do we do, what do we represent? This is our mission statement. We've been around since 2002. We had Croon Lake join us here 11 years ago now. It's been a great addition to our association. And the mission, I'm just going to read this. The mission of the association is represent the interests of the lakeshore owners, preserve the quality of lake living, protect the quality of the lakes, promote safe and balanced use of lakes, natural resources, and ensure environmentally sound lakeshore use and development. We have been doing AIS treatment stuff. This is well before my time, but it's been going on for a number of years. And I'll get into some AIS treatment stuff here later on in the presentation. But I wanted to hit our mission statement quick. And now I want to have a couple of our guest speakers we've asked to come up to present with us. We have Andrew from Hallberg Marine, and he's going to give a quick snippet of a program, a little bit of a funding match program that they've created, and then after that we'll have Ben from the LID come and present as well. So thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Andrew Hallberg. I'm a sales manager up at Hallberg Marine, and some of you may know we try and do a bunch in the community. We have what's called the Hallberg Family Foundation. And I was with my uncle last year, about a year and a half ago, and we were trying to think of different ways that we could inject money into the communities around us. And we came up with an idea of partnering with local lake associations. So what we came up with, and CLLA makes 4 lakes that we're in partnership with now as of the first of the year. So the way it works is if you or any other people that live within the association parameters are members of the Lake Association, and you make a purchase with Hallberg Marine. A qualified purchase is any purchase of $5,000 or more on a boat, motor, trailer, dock, lift. The only things that aren't included would be parts and service. But a purchase of a boat, motor, trailer, lift, dock, then the Hallberg Family Foundation is going to donate 2% of that purchase price to the association. The whole idea is to create funds for this association to work with, to increase membership and involvement. So Forest Lake, I took them on halfway through last year. From June 1st through the end of the year, I think we donated $8,500 to that association. Also through that, we got 3 new memberships out of it, folks that made a purchase with us. They weren't members yet. This is something that we do. We ask people, where are you from? Where do you do your boating at? Have you heard of this program? And then we tell them, if you would, go forward, get your membership dues paid, become a member of that association, and in turn, we're going to donate this amount to the association. So for instance, somebody comes in and makes a $30,000 purchase, we're donating $600 directly to the association. This has nothing to do, these funds aren't coming from Hallberg Marine. They're not hitting costs in a unit that somebody is buying. This is somebody doing business with us. I keep track of the purchases, and then the Hallberg Family Foundation will cut the checks each quarter. So we're running it this first full year with the option, as long as you're happy with the program that we're doing, we will extend this program, keep doing it. So this is our second year doing it with Forest Lake. We brought on you folks, we brought on Coon Lake, and we brought on Pekegama up in the Pine City area. Just an idea of how this can really get things rolling and be beneficial. So now we're into the second year with Forest Lake, and in the first quarter, as of right now, I think I owe them $8,500. I owe Coon Lake $5,200. And with word of mouth, with letting your neighbors know, if you have somebody that's a neighbor, they're looking to make a purchase, you're looking to make a purchase, sometimes I get it. You're looking for a boat that somebody else has. Totally understand that. But if you're looking for something we offer, check us out, see if our pricing's comparable. And if we do business together, we would love to also do business with the association. I will be sending out checks each quarter. So what I'll do, what I've been doing to this point is when somebody makes a purchase and they say that they are a member, I reach out to the organization, just confirm that they're up to date with their dues, they're paid up, give them a breakdown of what the purchase was, how much will be getting donated, then I'll bank that stuff and write checks each quarter and send them out. My goal is, and I love following Treasury on this, my goal is to be, at the end of the year, donating $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 to each lake association. We've got the money in the foundation. We want it to go where we don't know what your lake needs as much as you do. And so that's where we're going to put it in your hands and let you take over with it. So does anybody have any questions at all? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm new to the area. I have not become a member here yet, but I did buy a pontoon from you last fall and I haven't even picked it up. If I could become a member now.
So let's put it this way. It was technically before the start date on January 1st. That being said, I had the same situation happen with Forest Lake last year when we officially rolled out June 1st. There were a couple people from May. So if you would, shoot me an email at andrewhallberg@hallbergmarine.com and let me look up the order and see what we can do. I'm all about bending some rules. So, and yeah, I mean, like I said, and once again, we appreciate that. And then, like I said, if we can make that work, then we will. I think we've got 2 other sales that will qualify for this as of right now, and then if we can add yours as a third. And then once again, I'm going to be a proponent for your association. You mentioned the 500 and was it 531 addresses on the lake. When those customers come to us and we ask them, where do you do your boating, and they are here, we are going to be in your corner trying to get those people to join and be part of this program, which is only going to be good for the association going forward. So I appreciate you letting me come. Oh, yeah.
Good question. So I can see purchases of 5,000 or more, but a lot of us do business with you on much smaller amounts, but are loyal customers in other aspects of your business. Have you thought about tying that in, or is that just an administrative nightmare that you're trying to kind of
that's really what it was, is trying to come up with a grouping that I could keep up with the schematics of it. We've got 2,200 storage customers, and we have another 1,500 people that service with us throughout the year that aren't storage customers, on top of about another 600 purchasing buyers each year. The program, it's just something where literally, this is pretty like first grade. I get the name of somebody, I keep track of it on a spreadsheet, and I send the stuff out. I don't know that I'd be able to keep up with what would go into the rest of it. We could, in all reality, have a full-time person probably keeping track of that, because the majority of our customers are within this area. And then the only other thing I would say on top of that is, I don't know if you've been to one of our customer appreciation parties that we do in the spring, but that's also where we say thank you to the everyday customers. We appreciate it. I just don't know that I would have the tools necessary to keep up with it. So.
I just like that goes to the association and it helps with the.
Absolutely.
Those things.
Well, the other thing that I will say on that, I was talking to Dave about this earlier. This is a program that we just came up with, and this is completely aside from all other contributions and donations that we do to the lake associations, to stuff in the community here. So it's not like we're pushing this forward and now we're not going to help with docs, lists, stuff like that in the future. That will still be part of our regular giving. This is just another part to it. So. Yeah, this was probably one of the best ones yet. I think we ended up with 1,356 was the final count of people that came. We've been in business since 1959. It was my uncle that started it, and his philosophy has always been take care of the customer, and we try and do that. We try and do that through the sale, the service, the storage, all the interactions we have, but then also the enjoyment we get from that party, being able to host over 1,200, 1,300 people, have live bands, music, beer, wine, pop, food, stuff like that. So for anybody that might not be a customer of ours yet, we'd definitely love to have you on. And once again, I think through this program, I think we can really boost some of the numbers, some of the financials coming into your lake and your lake association. Anything else at all?
When you donate to like Forest Lake and you do that, you guys have, I'm assuming, a Facebook page. Do you post and say we just donated from the Hallmark Foundation, and then that could be forwarded? Do you donate something?
Yeah, so to this point, I haven't. So what they did is Forest Lake did it on their Facebook page. Well, so when Ken Wood came up to get the last couple checks, we took a picture. They posted on there, tagged Hallberg Marine. It's one of those things where the more that people know about it, the more momentum that will grow it. And the more momentum that grows it, the more funds that will come in. Like I said, we do a lot of business with your lakes here. And I mean, I would probably guess that in the past year, we probably sold 25 to 30 boats onto your lakes here. I hate that those are boats that missed out on the program. What I'm looking forward to is being able to catch those sales going forward. For obviously, many of those people weren't members. I'm looking forward to catching them at that point. There's not many people that are going to buy a boat and plan on enjoying the lake and say, no, I don't want to pay my $50 due to become a member, where you're going to in turn put $1,200, $1,500, $1,700 from my sale into the association. So it's a great way of getting participation. So, all right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrew. I wanted to piggyback on that quick before I invite Ben up, but last year, anyone that was here, we had discussed a grant match that we had done with Hallberg for this treatment boat that we're working on. So the match was a $10,000 match. So the Lake Association raised $10,000. Hallberg ponied up $10,000. We actually sent that boat to them. It now has a center tune on it and a motor and controls and stuff. And I have a picture later on of kind of where it's at, but that's still in process. So it's been a very fruitful program working with those guys. So with that being said, I'm going to invite Ben up and yeah.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, everybody, for the invite. Come back here. We always enjoy talking to our local lake associations about the work that the Lake Improvement District is doing. So my name is Ben Elfelt. I am the administrator for the Lake Improvement District. I'm also here tonight with Monica Kinney. She is our water resources specialist. And our mission, don't worry, I'm not going to read every slide word for word, but I am going to read this one because it's important. Our mission is to preserve, restore, protect, and enhance the water resources of the Chisago Lakes Chain of Lakes watershed. And we do that through a lot of different ways, but we've boiled it down to really 8 key goals that we work towards. And so those goals they're measurable. They're things like water quality, environmental stewardship, native shorelines, managing the channel and weir system. And so I could talk for 2 hours tonight about all the good stuff the Lake Improvement District does, but Dave said I only had an hour, so we had to cut it. So first and foremost, the main priority and the mission of the Lake Improvement District, why it was created, in fact, was the channel and weir system. Some of you probably around in the 60s and again the 70s when the water got really high and flooded out a lot of properties. So the weirs and the channel system were installed in the late 1980s, and thus the creation of the Lake Improvement District was just really to manage that and help fund that project. Those weirs this year are 40 years old or 39 years old. They needed some help. So the Lake Improvement District contracted with Peterson Companies. You can see here in these pictures, that's the weir at Lake Ellen, and we had to drive 60-foot metal sheet piling or metal I-beams down in the ground to support the deck structure of 2 of these weirs. So Lake Ellen, and then there's one on Lofton. And that project was over $500,000. And so we worked with the county. We found some creative funding with the county, and the county board was very supportive of that. And so we're hopeful that we added a minimum of 10 years of usable life to those structures. So now we can plan going forward and really plan for a replacement plan when it should arise. Go ahead, Dave. This is one that we're super excited about called Save Our Shorelines. And if you followed the Lake Improvement District at all, you've seen something in the community, you will undoubtedly have seen our Save Our Shorelines program. This is aimed at helping landowners on the lakes bring back native shorelines. So there's a lot of things that can really impact our shorelines in a negative way, mainly waves, wind erosion, and runoff. So having those native plants and native landscapes on the shoreline really helps slow that degradation down. So what we do, myself and Monica, we work with the Chisago County Soil and Water District, who are the professionals. They're the technical experts on what to do and how to do it as far as restoring your shorelines. So Monica and I, we go out and we make the connections. We have a survey that everyone can take on the Lake Improvement District website. It'll get you connected with us. You can kind of score your own shore so we get an idea of the issues that you may or may not be dealing with. We'll reach out, set up a site visit. If it goes on from there, we'll bring in soil and water, and there's technical experts that work free of charge. And there's also grant opportunities to do a lot of this work. And so we really hope, I think we visited 19 sites last year, somewhere in there, on all of our area lakes. And so our goal this year is to double that. So, and if there are questions, which I hope there are, I can take as many as you have at the end. Otherwise, we have a little table set up back there with some more in-depth information on the Save Our Shorelines program, and Monica's back there. She's really the expert at this. I'm just the mouthpiece. Okay, Lab to Lakes. This is another really cool program in 2023, the Lake Improvement District. And so let me back up. Before that, we knew there were carp in these lakes. And there were even carp surveys in these lakes. But they surveyed one lake at a time. So one lake, a couple years later, another lake. What it didn't do was capture how many carp are in the system at the same time. Because we kind of figured if boats can get through these lakes, so can the fish. So in 2023, we had a really big effort to survey all the lakes at the same time. And that came up with some population estimates. The ecological tipping point for, hey, you have a carp problem, is 89 pounds of carp per acre. And I don't have it on this one. Do I have it on the next one? No, I don't. I had to give the abbreviated. So 89 pounds of fish per acre is the, hey, you have a carp problem. South Center came back at 500 pounds per acre. North Center came back at 350 pounds per acre. Lindstrom's came back at 200 and got progressively less throughout the system. To when we got to Chisago, Chisago was right at that. It was like 90 pounds per acre. And we went, whoa. Carp have some major negative impact to the ecosystem. Not only do they destroy the weeds, which might not be a bad thing, right? If we can eat milfoil, we'd be okay, right? But they also stir up the bottom sediment. And what that does is that bottom sediment has locked up a bunch of phosphorus. And phosphorus is that nutrient that algae needs to really explode. And so carp, it's not a silver bullet. Taking care of the carp is not going to take care of the algae, but every little bit helps. So we were surprised at these numbers. So was the University of Minnesota. In 2024, the U reached out and said, hey, we looked at your carp stuff. We have a program that we think might help. It's a grant through the Lab Lakes program, and it lasts until 2028, and it's worth about $1 million. And we're gonna come in, bring our research team in to get baseline data in your lakes. So collect data like oxygen levels and sediment and water clarity and temperature and how the plant community looks. We're gonna do that year one, which was 2024 and 25. And then we want the lid to contract with someone to take as many carp out of these systems as you can. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna see how these lakes changed. So right now, I guess it was February, we did a commercial harvest on North Lindstrom Lake. Some of you may have seen that. Some of you may have seen that we only caught 13 carp, which was sort of disappointing. We hoped for more. And the way we targeted those carp, we have radio tags implanted in a number of fish. I think there's 50, 55 with the, throughout the system. So we can figure out where those fish are, but they're only, they're there that day, and you go back and you cut the holes the next day with the net. Well, those fish are fish, they swim. So we only caught 13, but what that did do was tell us that those fish like that area, and we now know that we can pull a net through there. There's no obstructions on the bottom that are gonna hinder that net coming through. So that is a location, as well as a few other locations that we're monitoring basically weekly to see when the carp show up. Then we have some plans for this spring, a little different strategy, but we are set up, ready to go when the carp show up in these locations. We're gonna hit them with box nets and seines and electrofishing, try to get as many out as we can. So that's all I'm gonna say about carp. That's my favorite thing to talk about. And the North Lindstrom North Center Channel project, connecting those lakes, that has been a priority for almost 2 decades. The Lake Improvement District is committed to that. We're actively working with the township and the landowners on both sides to figure out a solution there where the Lake Improvement District can at least get access or easement to work in that channel. That's only one part of it. The other part is we have to satisfy the DNR permit requirements for changing how that channel functions, which is going to be a much heavier lift. We are working with an engineering firm, Emmons and Oliver, who has been the lid engineer for many years. They're very familiar with the project. And they had to run, I'm not going to get too sciencey, but it was a really big model that took into account all of the water impacts throughout the whole watershed and how that would impact that channel. So it's a very in-depth and very expensive model. 2026 was the first year that the Lake Improvement District actually put budget dollars towards this project, which is a big step. Yes, we've been doing a lot of work on this project for decades, but this is the first year that the board really leaned in, committed money, $60,000 to pay for this model. And I think that's a really great step in a commitment to finishing this project. Community outreach and education, like I mentioned on the onset, you've probably seen us out in town. We try to hit as many shows and booths and Lake Association meetings as we can. Our goal is to connect with folks and figure out where everybody's coming from as far as what their concerns are, what the community's priorities are. My board is elected. I have a seven-member elected board, and so they can't be everywhere at the same time. So we really rely on our community engagement to assess the priorities and how the priorities may or may not change. All right, Dave. Hook, line, and sinker, this is a fun one. If you've put your boat in at a boat launch in the Lake Improvement District, you have seen one of these hook, line, and sinker collectors there on the sign. This is for lead tackle fishing line. This is just I don't want to say a passive way, but we put these out. We collect the tackle that people deposit every year, and this helps keep all that junk out of the lakes. Monofilament fishing line, let's see, 500 years to decompose. So keeping that stuff out of the water is really great. And I think that might be it. So I hope I went fast enough to leave some time for questions. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Ben. All right, you guys are stuck with me for the rest of the meeting. I want to go over a couple things. This last year, when COVID hit, there's this program came out this called ARPA. You probably heard us talk about that the last couple years. ARPA funding that's now been depleted, and the county has stepped up to try to fill that need the best they can, along with the lid. So we had applied for that grant through the county this year, and we've received $18,199 to utilize for this upcoming season. It can be used for a number of things, treatments. We're in the middle of trying to build out our boat, educational purposes, things like that. So we're excited that the county is able to get that program put together, so we can continue to move forward with that. that being said, this next slide, I have a picture of, this is me and Mark after we picked up the boat from Hallberg this last, maybe it was May. As you can see, there's a big motor hanging off the back of it. There's really not much else on there, and so it's out at a shop right now, getting an aggressive quote put together for us to see what it's going to take to put the rest of it together. Last year's funding for AIS treatments through ARPA, there was a reason. The reasons that we didn't do any treatments last year were some DNR permitting stuff, and then navigating through the transition of Mark passing away and then me stepping in trying to pick up some pieces this year. So regardless of whether this boat is up and ready for action or not, we will be getting out this year to get some treatments in, whether we're paying a third party for that or not. Yes, ma'am.
To the one that's over on Green Lake that we borrowed?
This is, yep, this is, yep. So we're kind of taking a little bit of a model piece from them and wanting to replicate that. One of the reasons we chose to go down the road of building our own is because there's an advantage to water temperature and timing when it comes to treating the lakes. And if our water temperature and their water temperature and Center Lake's water temperature are all at the same around the same time, now everyone wants to use one boat or whatever. And so the rental we did in 2024 from Green Lake proved to be very fruitful with the amount that we were able to gain. I don't remember the actual numbers off the top of my head, but the year prior, 2023, we paid a third party to do treatments at about 30 acres. If I had to guess, when we did our own in-house treatment, it was like 140 acres. Now there's volunteer time and man hours that follow with that, but that's the goal, is to try to get on top of this. And we just realistically don't have the funding to pay a third-party company to get on top of it unless someone's ready to write a six-figure check to us every year. It's just, everything costs money. So yeah, we're looking to get back on track with treatments. With or without this treatment boat being done, we're still gonna still do that. So you'll see some notices go out here when ice is out. When is ice gonna get out? Soon. Soon. So just want to highlight a couple things. We've been talking about this for a few years. We're still looking for people to help, not only in the VP position, but some special event stuff, programs, volunteer needs. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and sometimes many hands make light work. So if anyone's interested in getting involved, we're going to be with the dead horse right now, but we definitely need some help. Some activities this past year that we've done, we did Celebration of the Lakes, we did some loon raft stuff. Last year we did do some AIS stuff for curly leaf early in the year, and then ran into permitting issues, and so that's why no treatments were done with that last year. Lakes Appreciation Night, don't know if that's actually the right date. That might have been last year's slide. I'd have to go pull up my calendar, but we partner with or help a lid show up for Kaishai Saga Days and Karl Oskar Days. This is an informational booth, and then some paddle stuff led by the Paddle Club. One of the new events that we're loosely partnering with, there's a business group out of the city of Lindstrom. Last year they did I think they called it the Midsummer Days. You guys have probably seen the seam coming from the coffee. Is it the coffee pot? Get that right. So they're doing another event this year that they've asked us to be part of. June 20th. They are kind of ending their festivities, if you will, down at Beach Park in Lindstrom on South Lindstrom Lake. Sounds like they're looking to have a band together. They're going to have some other things, food trucks, drinks, stuff like that. So they're wanting their vision, if they will, the people that are leading that, to see a nice big group of boats tied up, hanging out, having fun, watching a band, whatever. So that's one thing that's new. We're excited to partner with, and then we're still looking at doing obviously more events. More events means more exposure for us, which means more membership. All leads in the right direction. So these are all things we're still liking to do, but it definitely takes some help and volunteers to do that. So the next portion of our meeting, we need to jump into a couple voting things, but I wanted to maybe briefly open the floor if there's any questions about treatments or the boat or anything like that before we get into a vote for a few things. No? The goal will be to do both. Yep. that they, there's a lot of not necessarily picking and choosing, but we have to work with the funds that we have, and they are actually at two fairly aggressive price differences between the two. Milfoil is a lot more expensive to treat than curly leaf based on the contract report that I just got. But the plan is to do both. Some of the priorities are navigation in the lakes, channel areas, things like that. But we definitely know we have problem areas everywhere. We had a massive curly leaf pop up actually on Kroon 2 years ago. Went from about nothing to bam, here I am. So yeah, there's definitely quite a bit to do. But the plan is to try to tackle as much as we can with both invasive species. Yes. Don't quote me on this, but for curly leaf, I believe they don't want us to go over, it's either 60 or 65 degrees. It's still fairly chilly. There is not, to my knowledge, a water temperature regulation for ocean water milfoil. So curly leaf is early season. Some say there's an advantage kind of waiting until the last minute, if you will, on water temp. Potentially get a little bit of a possible 2-for-1, but not a total 2-for-1 there. But therein lies, Green Lake's boat. Well, they want it because they want to do the same thing we want to do, and it doesn't work that way. So, but yeah. Yes.
Not brand new. So does North Center and South Center have their own lake association?
Yes. Yep. North Center, South Center have a lake association. Our association is Kroon, North Lindstrom, South Lindstrom, Chisago, and Green Lake is big in Low Green.
They have their own?
Green Lake has their own association. Yep.
And what, historically, so then the membership numbers to me seem very low, considering that. So what have been the challenges with that?
Me being fairly new to the Lake Association, the only thing I can really speak to that is a few, I don't remember, where's Chris at? How many years ago was a kind of an aggressive board change?
Yeah, I think it was in 2022, like when I signed up in 2023, the whole board changed over. And that's not how the bylaws were written. It was supposed to go that way,
Yeah.
but there was no choice in the matter. So we were all board members and kind of the line in the line, so to speak, and
So-
trying to figure stuff out.
Yep, so that was a little bit before my time, but 4 years ago, an aggressive 100% board change all the way across the board.
What was the all-time high?
The reports that we have or the information that was passed to us was 120 at that time. The immediate year after that, we'd have to go back and look, but it wasn't close. It wasn't even tickling 100. So I'm not sure if there's something that, the board just working through navigation missed or whatnot, but we are trying to, with 531 addresses on all 4 of our lakes, that's a lot of addresses. So we'd love to see even half that. Yes, ma'am.
71 is just what you received before tonight's meeting, right? Like, I just paid my membership tonight.
Yep.
Right? So.
Yep. Anyone that paid tonight, if there's 20 of us in here that paid, or 20 that paid tonight, we're up to 91 or whatever. Yep. Yeah.
Yes, you're not past due by any means. It's just what our numbers that we had.
The number that she's seeing is not our number.
No, that's probably accurate. That is probably an accurate number, 71. This is from. So the 71 number that we see is kind of where the membership has been ever since I've been treasurer for about maybe a year. So that is pretty accurate, and it did take into account last year's annual meeting. So.
There was a new format for signing up this year too, right?
Let's just call this a moving target. As you guys have experienced our check-in process, we're trying to streamline and get away from paper and keep it digital, and that becomes challenges. Last year was a frustrating process. I believe, if I recall correctly, I went and grabbed paper. We were so friend. I just went back. Yeah, my kid in the back's affirming that. So yeah, we're still working through how we handle check-in stuff. I mean, obviously, ideally in a perfect world, we'd love to have everyone before this meeting even happens. Yep, online, pay my dues, I'm good. Just come here, attend, and leave. But the fact of the matter is, that's not the case. We've tried to loosely put a deadline for dues, but at the end of the day, we can't do that. New members, new addresses, people move, stuff like that. So we just have to try to stay on top of it, keep in exposure for membership. So. We have 2 things that we need to vote on tonight. One of them is a revision to our bylaws. About a month ago, if you were on our email blast, and it's been posted on our website, we made a revision. The last time our bylaws were revised was in 2019, I believe. There was a couple revisions after 2019 that we we found, but were never officially voted on. So we went back to what we knew was current. So if anyone's looked at those or have any questions about those, I'm happy to answer what I can. So we need to vote on that, and then we also need to vote for a re-up on our secretary position, Chris.
I think main thing from the bylaws revision was the lake rep. We're just moving to member at large. The beforehand, and this is before our time, I think, or was you?
I think it started shortly before me.
Yeah, basically it was trying to have a member per lake. It just was not, we couldn't get people to vote or join, so we just moved away from that to member at large rather than having a dedicated person on each lake there.
Yeah, I was part of that, and plan, this was in 2022, was to have each lake have a representative, so no one lake was controlling the lake association. And everybody had a voice, and each lake would have a rep and vote. Just like you guys, we always had trouble getting volunteers, and trying to find one person for each lake to volunteer. So.
There was a brief time, we did have representation from every lake, but the program that was rolled out was, the intent of what that position was not how it actually played out. And so we ended up with some people in positions that, we're doing things and or not doing things with what the position was intended for. One of the anomalies in this, and this was why we did the revision of bylaws, is Croon Lake's kind of their own, right? They're not connected to the rest of the lakes, and we don't want to treat them as a stepchild, if you will. So we kept that Croon Lake rep, and then we have a member at large position. And I think the bylaws are written to allow up to
Basically per lake.
per lake, up to 4. So currently we have 1 at-large member and 1 Croon Lake representative. It would be still an at-large. We would go back to, here's Chisago, here's North Lindstrom, here's South Lindstrom. It would still be a member at-large position.
The idea of people was to have a representative on each lake, that would also recruit members on each lake.
Yep. What we found is that's a very heavy task to load onto one person. So doing a little bit more member at large and try to tackle a little bit of a group effort, regardless of lake, we feel is a better approach than, having one specific person say, nope, you're South Lindstrom, here you go, here's some mailers, good luck. Try to tackle it a little bit more of a team effort. So, any other questions about bylaw stuff? All right, well, with that, I'd like to just do a voice vote. All in favor of approval of the revisions for bylaws, sign call for aye. All opposed, same sign. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Next vote is for Chris, our secretary, and a 2-year term limit, or 2-year term, a re-up for a 2-year, yep. So we in the bylaw revision, we've offset secretary, vice president on even years, and president and treasurer on odd years. So we don't have vice president right now, so right now we're just looking to re-up Chris for another 2-year term. So any questions or anyone wanting to throw their hat ring on that? No? Chris has been doing a great job. She's been a tremendous help to me as I've transitioned into a role of president, and she's been helping me try to keep the wheels on the bus, if you will. And I would say I'm a little bit younger than everyone in the room, so I still have a young family and stuff. So I'm very busy, and she does a tremendous job of working with me close and making sure that we're all on the same team. So I really appreciate you, Chris. Thank you. So, all in favor of Chris being voted on as treasurer for a 2-year term, say aye. All opposed, same sign. All right.
I think you said treasurer there, but we'll secretary. Yeah.
Sorry. All right. With that, we can open the floor again quick if anyone has any questions. If not, we're gonna switch over to raffle stuff. Yes, sir.
Just a real quick question with what Hallmark Foundation's doing. I'm on Facebook occasionally, but I haven't seen anything on Facebook, regarding that. And if we've got 460 families or, addresses that aren't members, if they're not members, I'd say there's a good chance that they're maybe not following the association on Facebook either. My question comes in, how do we get the word out? Do the postcard mailings for the meeting, do those go to all 530?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah, we sent out.
are there plans to do a mailing to let all 530 know, hey, we got this deal with Hallberg?
We haven't had a conversation about putting together a mailing just for the Hallberg program, but we have proven the last 2 years of doing a mailer specifically for this meeting is more fruitful than just creating a post and sending an email. A little bit of that. Not everything's got to stay, up to date on technology. Sometimes the old school send the postcard in the mail still works. So yeah, we had about, if I had to guess, 20 to 25 addresses that were undeliverable that came back that we'll follow up with here.
Yeah, the deadline on the 2%, that's this calendar year.
Correct.
And, if you don't get a mailing out, like I say, I'd be surprised if the 530 are all on Facebook.
Right.
Even if you didn't get it. So if you want to try and take advantage of that,
Yes.
you have to figure out a way to get them all to
Yeah.
get information.
Yep.
They're doing their job.
Yeah, no.
The other thing too is you can definitely do mailers. It's going to cost money, but obviously the other thing is word of mouth. Like talk to your neighbors as well. Get the word out. It always helps, and that's free for the most part. But we can definitely look into doing mailers, especially for this, because to your point, like if we get not even half, if we just get a couple people to do that, we're going to see the benefits from it. So that's something we can consider for sure.
Yeah, I like the mailer ID. Just to put it in perspective, that postcard, that we sent out to all the addresses, I think cost us loosely just under $500. So about right around $1 per, which your ROI on that would be very fruitful if, only 1 or 2 people went and bought a boat or something from Hallberg with that program. So yeah, no, that's a great idea. That's something that we definitely will consider and most likely implement.
Hey, we did that, 4 years ago, we had the same problem, lack of participation, numbers, and just like you and Chris, you guys are keeping this thing going. We put out an appeal, we actually sent out a letter to everybody, that said, this lake association is going to fold if we don't get more participation, and here's our plan. So we did exactly that. We had a lot of people show up, but they didn't all stay and help.
The follow through.
Yeah, follow through, but it did get participation.
Yep. I see Ben's standing up back there behind you here. We'll let him speak for the floor.
On this topic, we have on April 16th, I think, we have an AIS workshop at County Government Center. And I know information has been sent out, but as part of this workshop, we're going to have 2 people. Katie Malchow, who a lot of you probably know, is the county outreach coordinator. And then we're going to have a gal named Angie Hong, who works with Metro, and their whole spiel at this kind of training conference is how to engage and recruit members. And I just wanted to throw that out there in case that didn't get spread out yet. That'd be a really great. Most of you are excellent at what they do, and I think there'd be some value.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Ben.
Robert, do you have a question?
Any additional events to promote membership?
We haven't looked at putting together any additional specific events just for membership, but we participate with some things for within like the local Chisago Carl Oscar Days, Lakes Appreciation Night, Harmony in the Park, where they're representing Lake Association along with other neighboring lake associations at the same time, pushing membership and water quality and invasive species and all that stuff. So. Any other questions?
Got to get that boat going. Yeah.
Have you thought of a non-resident but supporter membership?
So someone that doesn't necessarily have property on the lake. We have a corporate sponsor program that's a little bit geared towards local businesses, but if...
So what if you're a kid that the parents had a place on the lake for millions of years, but then they don't? But they come here to fish, bring the kids here to fish every summer because they love this lake. Could they have a membership that's not a voting membership, but a supporter membership that, they could be able to donate, be able to say I'm a supporter, we could give them like some perky basket thing.
I'm not going to say no to $50.
Something like that. They wouldn't be voting members,
Sure.
So we can make them feel special.
Yep.
I think you're in charge of that.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that come these lakes.
Oh, yes. Tons of travel.
It's a tradition with them. They love the area.
Yep.
They don't own on it, but they would want to feel part of the lakes.
I will respond to that as we don't have a specific program for that, but
Just think it out.
anybody that has a link to our website that's public information could sign up and pay $50 and become a member, and they could live in a different state for all I know.
They might get some bling for their boat. I don't know.
Like sticker or something. Yeah.
Sure.
Those are good
They
ideas.
might want to be a lake supporter because they come here all the time with their kids. They like the area.
Yep.
They like the station here. There's a lot of people that like.
How exactly would you reach those people? I mean, stand at the boat launch?
Yeah. And I think we just need to have a bigger social media presence.
I don't know the laws of signage at public accesses, but that definitely could be something that.
It seems like your kids back there are your social media geniuses. We have a QR code, and you can have a little signage at the
Yeah, no, yep, that's exactly what I was saying. Yep.
Have you been coming in this lake a lot? I think you might have friends that
They have a lot of friends.
have them at the landings and
Yeah, these are all really great ideas. As Dave and as you saw in the presentation, we do need help.
they're motivated to keep the lake clean.
Yeah.
They're motivated to recreate on it.
Yeah, so we need help with managing this through the communications committee, the events committee. So if you all feel,
Friends of the Lake memberships.
what do you mean?
Friends of the Lake.
Oh, yeah.
That would give you some good money and word of mouth.
Word of mouth is huge. You have one bad experience at a restaurant, how many people are you going to tell?
But
Everybody.
I mean, we of course don't want extra lake traffic, but.
Double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
Our lakes are really quiet. Really quiet.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. Yeah, that's
It's great.
yeah.
But, yeah, I think those numbers are really low. But no, we don't want Disney. But we do want the people that love the lakes to support the lakes and everybody help out.
Yeah, awesome. Great idea.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I think we're ready for a raffle. Everyone got their tickets? It's the only reason you come? Don't answer that. Yeah. All right, so I did think obviously a little bit different this year.